All right, so this is session 3 of Changing the Lost using a PbtA hack, essentially built based on urban shadows and a little bit of masks and some other techniques. This is our 3rd session, and we're going to be rolling on with this. I've got a couple of minor rules things as I watch my little screen freeze. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can. You are frozen though.
It was frozen for me too. So weird. So weird, Google Plus. So one of the things is I went back and I realized I did harm a little bit off from what I've intended. One of the artifacts of taking this from Urban Shadows is that Urban Shadows actually has a lot of harm. Like when people attack, they do, 3-4 harm and things like that. I didn't rework all of that. When I did it, instead, what I did is anytime you mark a condition, that soaks up 2 harm. It's a little like fate. If you mark your key condition, it soaks up 3 harm. So the harm would be a little bit less than what you took. That's an artifact of the previous version of this. That's something I may go back and tweak because it requires remembering that. And I like not having to remember stuff. So I just wanted to tell you that that's one of the things. I'll go through and check where everybody is condition-wise, and I may have you, depending on where people are at, clear one of those conditions before we go to do the healing thing. But because I do want to work through that mechanic. The other thing I want to do is add something that we talked about last time. Essentially, I want to add 2 XP questions that I want to try out. One is the question, have you expressed your seeming and or kith during the session? If you've done that in a significant way, that's worth an XP. Have you expressed your humanity during the session? Is going to also be worth another XP. So those would be 2 questions we're going to add in at the end, and we'll see how that works. I'm just going to go with 1 XP for each of those for the moment, and we'll see whether that helps things out. Then again, you can also just roll a bunch of 6s, like we had in the mask game on Thursday, and get your advance right away. But we'll come back to that. So I'm going to recap last session. The group decided to assist Spinning Jenny after some discussion about that. And they begin to look into the situation with 3 Iron Sour, the former Spring Prince who had returned. You were able to find more details out about Doubt, how he'd been sort of overthrown, the details of that they suspect that he used a goblin contract to twist Spinning Jenny's fate, that somehow 3 other rivals for Spinning Jenny's hands were dealt with. One of them backed away, one of them went missing, and one of them was killed. And so Spinning Jenny is sort of terrified about that because she believes that essentially she was at fault. She knows she isn't intellectually, but as Changeling, she knows how they would feel about that kind of thing. The Spring Court, when you spoke to your prince, regardless, she was less inclined to get involved with the situation, given that she has her seat now, and she thinks that they've done quite a bit to help Spinning Jenny. But she was amenable to you and your motley engaging and perhaps solving the problem. Spinning Jenny, you put in a safe place. You located the secret hedge entrance that 3 Iron Sour was using. You went and you observed a figure from 3 Iron Sour's, you assume, crew going and casing the commons. You went there and you set a couple of different kinds of traps there on the commons, including a curse bucket. And then you went to check out the hedge door. And we flash back to the group earlier on speaking with Old Grummy, a wizened, who gave you some materials and some assistance, and who maybe came away from that meeting not happy with you, like maybe had a grudge, which brings us back to the group Motley being ambushed when you went to explore the hedge gate, and there was an explosion. You were attacked by a soldier and a beast, and there was a nasty fight, but you were able to deal with them, and the hedge door was still open at that point. So what I would like to do is like say you guys have figured out essentially what the key is to that gate, that having it opened and examining it, you know how to open it again in the future. And so the question would be then, we assume that Camilla would go to the Physiker. Is anyone else wounded?
I am.
Okay. So what we could do, if you'd like, is we could take up the scene essentially at the Physiker, and then we could talk about how you three clear conditions. Does that seem like a good place to start it, or is there something else you guys are like, nope, we need to do this thing first?
So Thicket was actually pretty angry at the end of the last session and took like one of the dead bodies and tossed it into the portal. So I think that it would take a little bit of convincing, you know, to get him, he's obviously wounded, but to get him back to a Physiker and close the portal and all of that, yeah.
Okay. So let's do that scene then, okay. Because you guys may want to push on. So Morosa, Zach, Camilla is out, and Thicket looks really quite angry.
Okay, and I've got a soldier that I've just broken. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm like, we got to get to the Physiker. And she kind of turns around and she goes, Thicket, I can't be a murderer. We got to take him to the Physiker.
He says we can always just toss that one through too.
She goes, that's only going to be a bad thing for us later.
Or it's a bad thing for them.
It is a bad thing for everyone.
Thicket, buddy, look at Camilla. Look at her. She's passed out. I think she's bleeding. We need to. I think we need to go to the Physiker. We need to hurry. We don't need to stay here.
Well, I think if both of them are pretty much getting ready to go to the Physiker, I think Thicket would come to his senses and probably go along.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll cut to Sarah No Tears, who is the Physiker for the Winter Court. There's a picture of her in there. She looks like an anatomical dummy, essentially half flesh and half exposed, different layers there. And when you're close to her, as you will be, Thicket, you'll notice that the layers are even labeled on there. They're little tiny letters, little tiny writing there, saying which part of the human body it is. So she will treat you. So let's assume that we can clear the wounded condition there for you.
Okay.
And she will take a look at the soldier, and she immediately turns and looks at Morosa and's like, what?
And she says, I don't know. He attacked me. Things got stressed. She goes, I gave him a smack, and it hit harder than I intended. I'm super sorry. I didn't mean to hurt him. I mean, meant to hurt him. I didn't mean to break him.
And does that wizened sigh of irritation.
And she goes, do you know who he is?
No. Who is he?
he came with 3 iron sours, crew through the hedge door.
All right,
So
all right.
someone with 3 iron sour, I don't know, trouble's brewing. He's part of it, but don't want to let a soldier die, right?
I will take care of him, but he's an outsider. So I'm doing this as a favor for you.
Okay.
And she will go to cocoon him up. She says he'll be out for quite a while.
All right. Just as long as I don't have to watch you healing her.
Oh no.
Him.
And she will get to that. Imagine, if you will, a thicket. She also has like little sewing needles in her fingers. So when she goes to stitch you up, she's essentially doing this with her fingers to close any cuts and things that you might have.
I think I'm kind of twitchy, so maybe it doesn't work great, but I'm like, oh.
Sit still. Sit still. She'll probably tug a little bit if you start to get a little too twitchy.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of shape, Marosa and Zach, what kind of shape are you two in? What do you have marked right now?
Well, I came in confused and with 1 level of wounded, but I have 2 levels.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit turned around just because Camilla confused the heck out of me there.
But you're not angry, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm angry.
Well, yeah, I am. Oh, I am angry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
angry.
We worked real hard to make you angry.
Yeah.
I'm still angry.
Okay. So that takes a little bit more for you to clear because that's your key condition.
No, mine is lost.
Oh, that's right. Lost. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're good. What about you, Zach? What do you have marked?
I have insecure and also wounded.
Okay. So she can stitch up the wounded on everybody. Essentially, you've gone to the Physiker. You guys owe her a favor, and she will clear that in a not entirely comfortable way. She has poultices and thread and various prepared from rotted hedge fruit. Nothing smells good when she works with it. So let me ask you this, Marissa. You've got conditions marked. Where do you go to? Where is a glamour source that you go to clear a condition?
Let's see here. Well, I didn't choose what my preferred glamour was. But I'm actually thinking that it's probably grief. So probably I go to like wakes and funerals and hospital waiting rooms and those kinds of things.
Give me a specific place that right now has been, I hate to say this, a bountiful source of grief for you.
So probably there's there's one of the funeral homes that's still down in that kind of really run down area and the most affordable prices. So there's usually people there, and I just kind of go in and sign into the book as if I know the person and just sort of mingle and kind of sidle over a little bit closer to the family.
All right, so go ahead and roll with your own season.
Oh, yikes. Why that? Okay. So that gives me an 8.
Okay. So you will go and you'll be able to clear one of your conditions.
Okay.
Which one do you want to clear?
Probably
You just had the one, right? Okay.
No, I had 2. So confused. I'll probably keep angry for a little while.
And you will do that, and you will get that energy. And as it's getting towards the end, the funeral director will walk over to where you're at, and he will say, "Ma'am, can I have a word with you?"
Oh, sure. No,
And he'll say, "You've been coming here quite a bit. This really is a place for the family and the invited loved ones. So I'm going to have to ask you not to come back."
unless I'm invited, right?
Unless you're invited.
Okay.
You can tell he's maybe had to deal with this before.
Okay.
And he's tried to be very professional about it. You're a big woman, kind of imposing. So he's trying to be gentle about this, but you will have to fall back on another glamour resource after this. Okay.
This is saddening to me.
Yeah. Zach.
Yes.
We established that grief was your sort of favored glamour. But of course, it can be anything.
Well, it's actually like guilt. It's sort of
guilt. That's right.
Absolution of guilt.
So where do you go?
Well, we had talked about, and I'm not entirely sure what this looks like, but we had talked about that. I think it was hammering beats helps me out with that. He has a place where I can, or a particularly dramatic way to destroy things, because Zach does get some release just from breaking things, taking them down to their more component elements, and also part of that guilty and absolution cycle there is when he himself, when he finds that he's attaching too much importance to things that he has or things that people have given him, it's sort of a psychological tick that he goes and he tries to break them and destroy them to free himself from that ownership and need.
Okay. And so now that's an internal thing. So I can see that useful for clearing your key condition.
Gotcha.
Maybe as a process. In terms of glamour, essentially drawing the emotional energy of others to help you out, where would you go?
I suppose a similar thing, because most people aren't going to be quite as dramatic as all that. So barring happening to find someone destroying their cheating significant other's car or whatever, I think probably the closest analog to that sort of thing is going to be like charity drives or like community sales where people are donating, giving up their things to sell for better purposes and to make them feel better about themselves by getting rid of their stuff.
Okay, so let's say there's a regular one of these for one of the sort of shops, essentially the equivalent of Goodwill or something like that, or one of the local charities that does this on a regular basis. That is something that you attend from time to time. So let's go ahead and have you roll with your season.
Okay. Let's see. It's a separate tab now. Oh, geez. That's a 5.
All right. So you will not clear that. You do get to mark an experience point.
Hey.
Essentially, and when you get there, you will find that it has shut down for some reason. Why is it shut down?
I think it's like a structural thing. Like there was the building has been condemned. There's something in the framework of it that just hasn't been upkept over the past like decade, and I think one of the corners of the building just sort of crunched and started to sink a little bit, like the foundation started to sink.
And there's those handwritten signs pasted on the inside of the window. Sorry, no thrift giveaway this week, and you kind of look inside and it's an empty building and they've got the condemned signs on it.
I think Zach, like he doesn't quite believe that, so he sort of circles the building for a while, like looking in all the windows he could find. Maybe they've just moved it to a different part of the building or a different floor. I think eventually he just gets frustrated enough that he just breaks one of the windows. I think he just punches it.
Okay, yeah, and there's no alarm on this building. The glass gives easily, and you just kind of look, and there may be a few stray items like books and clothes and rubber ducks that are left behind, but otherwise it's empty.
I don't know. I'm gonna grab a rubber duck and then I'm leaving.
Okay, fair enough. Thicket, you had wounded and you have angry, right?
Yes.
And do you have any others marked?
No.
Okay. Did you want to try and clear angry, or you want to stick with that?
I'm fine trying to clear angry. I think that, Thicket, kind of paces back and forth, waiting for Sarah No Tears to finish up, and, isn't real happy, and realizes he kind of needs to work some stuff, work out some energy. So I think the place where he goes is a bar. This is a seedy bar where it would be real easy to start a fight.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of and maybe it's a good place to fence some items. Maybe it's a good place to, steal from anyone unaware. This isn't a bad part of town. So you have to know what you're doing. And sometimes maybe Thicket doesn't.
Okay.
So.
And you probably there, and things get triggered and fights break out. Let's have you roll with your season.
Yeah. So that's a 9.
Okay. So you will clear that. Not a problem. But as you're sort of finishing up, describe to me what happens here. What's the fight that you're able to kind of get the emotion from?
Yeah. So I think what this is that I kind of instigate one of the guys and say, I don't think that guy belongs in here. He looks like he's too uppity, and I bet he's got some money on him, and and then I go over and I'm like, you see that guy? He's looking at you. He's looking at you, and they kind of start shoving each other around, and I throw the first punch, but they all think it was somebody else. And
okay.
It's just a brawl where Thicket's in the middle of it, just working it out. Just hitting whoever because he can.
And so I think what you'll definitely get that clear, but I think at the end you get grabbed by essentially the bartender, who says, "How the fuck old are you?"
I'm 22.
And he looks at you because you look pretty damn young, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. He will physically drag you out of here, and he will say, "I better never see you in this bar again."
And I think as soon as he lets go of me and kind of drops me to the ground, I just take off running.
Yeah, you get. And you will take off, and you realize that you probably shouldn't poke your head in there.
Yeah.
All right. So what should we cut to? Shall we do individual things, or shall we cut back to the group talking again? What would you prefer?
I think maybe regroup.
Okay. So yeah, we'll assume that you can regroup at the Hollow or at the bar, either one of those. I did put up a picture of the bartender in the NPCs. Her name is Bartender. It's a closed loop for her.
Okay.
So we'll assume that the group of you can talk. One of the things we would want to talk about here, I want to pause here for a little mechanical thing. You guys have the hollow. We've mentioned that before. I just want to kind of talk about that. You guys have a maximum trust pool of 1. Trust can be spent to give others a bonus if you act in a scene. Essentially do that without a roll. You can create more trust. You can use that to do things. One of the things you might want to look at, we don't necessarily have to do it now, but in the rules I've got sort of advances that you can have for your hollow. Things, you get 2 of those at the start, and they can be used to essentially increase your trust pool, to give yourself a special resource, to like have friends in a particular place, and then on the hollow itself, and you can use that to make the hollow bigger or give yourself special amenities, extra doors, that kind of thing. Sort of adaptation of what we've got from the original Changeling on that. So I'll just point that out. So what I want to say is, if during the course of this session or next you want to go, oh, I think we have X, you've got 2 advances that are sort of open to state that.
Okay.
All right, you're in the bar. The little karaoke stage is set up. There are a few other changelings in here. And the bartender has already brought your drinks over when you've come without ordering, and sets them down for you. What do you think your drink of choice is for each of you? Is it alcohol? Is it milk? Is it what? What do you imagine? Marosa? Oh, Zach?
I think it's probably something just awful, like gin and Gatorade or something. Someone he caught some commercial that was going on about the magical values of electrolytes, and that really caught his attention. He was like, that's what I need. So Gatorade, I think that's his favorite drink to mix with things.
It has a delightful violet shade to it when they bring it over to you. Okay, and Marosa?
I think that she favors a ginkgo biloba beer, essentially like a ginger beer, but with the sort of brain augmenting powers that come with the ginkgo biloba.
The most expensive of ginger beers.
Yes.
So it tastes horrible, and she makes faces the whole time when she's drinking it, but that's what she drinks typically.
And a thicket?
I think whenever the bartender comes over with Thicket, he's got 3 little shot glasses of tequila that he sets down in front of Thicket. And Thicket kind of reaches over and grabs grabs a salt shaker and, kind of puts it on his hand and takes the first one. And then during conversations, he'll shoot the rest.
No. Serious drinker for a little kid.
Yeah.
That's why they don't allow non-changelings in here. All right, so you guys can talk about what you want to do. There are some other changelings in here, but they kind of leave you to your own. If there's anybody you want to particularly talk to, we can write them into the scene. But we'll start with you 3.
Well, I think one of the things that we all have to acknowledge is that even though we have attempted to get rid of it, we still have glitter shot through.
Yeah, you are quite sparkly.
Our hair and our, it's stuck to our earlobes and just everywhere. It doesn't matter how many times you shower, it will still be that. So especially.
I think as Zach stirs his drink there, it's not just violently purple. It now has this like healthy mixture of swirling sparkles through it, as just things have littered off of him into the drink, and he just doesn't really notice.
Okay, so I think we met here for the reason that there's the public phone here that Ginny would call, and we're coming up on 1:23 p.m. So we're just here to wait in case she needs to talk to us as much as anything. And so we will speak strategically of our second foray. So,
I think Thicket starts making battle plans. He's like, how are we going to get back and jump through that hedge part and jump those guys?
Okay.
Because we were going to sneak the last time, and there's no more sneaking. We're gonna run in, right?
Well, there still could be sneaking. You know, it's strategic sneaking, not totally unknown sneaking. You know, there's different levels of sneaking.
Okay, if we're doing strategic, you guys are going to have to work that out and just give me hand signals, okay? Just want to be really clear here. I'm really good at punching stuff, though.
Hand signals, Thicket. Can you maybe a modified paw signal?
I'll just point. She's really good at hitting them.
That's true. I think first ground rule is we assume that none of our enemies know our birthday, and so no more presents. If we see presents, we just walk past them.
Okay. All right. Should I write that down?
Yep.
Well, I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt.
Okay. I'll write it down.
So, okay, yeah, we still need to go through there and see what's on the other side. But we also have the stuff for the clown guy, which I'm still really creeped out that 3 Iron is just making people into clowns. That's really not okay with that, guys.
Wait, he's making them into clowns?
Well, I'm assuming, or maybe you just found a clown guy, but that seems sort of coincidental.
Does it? I don't know. I mean, you seem sort of coincidental.
It's true enough, I suppose. That's fair. Maybe I wonder if there are any pictures or descriptions of what he looked like from the time. Maybe we could see if this clown looks the same as he used to look, or I'm not sure. I'm just trying to grasp wildly at straws here.
I haven't seen him yet, Zach. Does he look like a guy with clown makeup, or does he look like a guy who's been made into a clown?
Well, that's I didn't get right up close to him, but we do. Oh, I wonder when his next round is. We did set up that trap to leave him just laying prone and passed out on the ground. I wonder if he's laying prone and passed out on the ground right now.
It's the afternoon. Was he doing this during the day?
Well, I only saw the one time that he came out. What time of day was that, Lowell?
Let me think. It probably would have been at dusk, probably late. He would have done it, while there's a little bit of darkness to give him some cover.
Aren't dusk and dawn also the time when there's a pause between a natural pause between contracts and those kinds of things? So
yep, it is the changing time.
So,
wait, that's a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I always just assumed people were kidding.
Nope. It's when promises and contracts start and stop.
No.
Is this a thinking thing, or are we going to go hit someone?
Oh, I mean, doesn't it usually end up devolving into hitting people?
Is devolving the right word?
Anyways, we've got him to watch out for, and we've got to go back in there, and we're waiting on Jenny. Is there anything else that we're forgetting?
If there is, I've forgotten it.
didn't think about that danger. Oh, I should have written down the things I was going to forget. Oh, you're very smart with that list.
Yeah, see? No birthday presents.
Well, fundamentally, we have to make sure that Jenny isn't beholden to 3 Iron Sour anymore, and we haven't really made much progress on that.
So that means that we have to figure out what he's got her bound by, right?
Yeah.
What that original 7-year contract was.
That could be related, or it could be separate. It might have been like part of the catch of the thing, but it would be like, it's almost like we have to figure out what goblin contract he used. Well, that's only for reversing. See, there's a lot of things, but what did he hold her to? That's what we need to know. What were the terms of and the conditions of her agreeing to marry him?
Lowell, is there a regular goblin market? Like, is there a constant goblin market, or one that happens regularly? Like periodic.
Goblin markets are pretty common, so yeah. Let's say that there is definitely a goblin market that you know of. That they keep regular stalls there.
I suppose we could try and backtrack whatever deal he made through the market. Although, I mean, they're not thrilled about talking and revealing business past to people.
Well, I think we can get those things to shake free if we can get 3 Iron Sour to step underneath the curse bucket. I mean, that's really what it's meant to do. Sort of make it pay the price of all the things he did. But what we could do is kind of go and see what kind of setup he's got. If he's got a bunch of other people, if it's just him and 5 others, but sometimes you can tell from the people that he's gathered around him what kind of promises he's made. And if we can make sure he can't make good on those promises, that'll put him on bad footing.
That's a solid plan.
Yeah.
So I have this image of how are we going to get 3 Iron Sour to get to trigger the curse bucket. I'm thinking, if he happens to be, through the entrance that we were looking at, maybe we can get him to chase us.
Sure.
Yeah, and then maybe that's a way that he could rush through. He thinks that it's safe. We think it's safe inside that building. He thinks that he can get in safely. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our fallback plan, is literally fall back to the Freehold community. Those are plans that I can get behind.
But I think as far as that hedge gate, maybe like a tactical stealthfulness so that we can catch them off guard when we eventually attack them viciously and brutally. I'm looking straight at Thicket this whole time. Like, yeah?
Sure. That sounds great.
You're totally just going to scream and attack them as soon as you see the first one, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
So it sounds like we could probably cut from there back to the hedge gate. Does that seem cool?
Mm-hmm. After 123 has gone by with no call.
Good point. So yeah, Ginny will call at 123.
Okay.
Probably eats up some time there. She needs to be reassured.
Right.
I'm
really bad at this. I look at the other 2 that are still with us. I'm like, uh-oh. Who isn't angry here? Zach?
I'm not angry.
Okay. Oh, this is very bad. I'll try. No, I'll give it to Zach at first.
Okay.
All right, I can definitely screw this up. Don't worry.
All right.
So Zach, she does seem upset. She's nervous. She just wants someone to reassure her that nothing bad is going to happen, that you guys are taking care of things, that everything is cool. Calm her down. So what is it that you say to her?
No, it's okay, Jenny. No, we're looking into it, and we only got exploded a little bit. Camilla's probably going to be fine. I don't think she'll lose more than a limb, or at least a really expensive outfit. It's going to be all right. No. It's Jenny. No. Calm down. It's fine. Look. I understand you're stressed. You're a little anxious, and I'll tell you what makes me happy when I get like that, when things really get in my head, is I just find something, that's really important to me, that I've invested a lot of myself and my time and effort into it. I take it and I hold it and really consider like all of that emotional investment that I put into it and all that time and thought. And then I just sort of, shatter it or tear it into little shreds.
The phone up from a moment ago. And so then what you want to do is just sort of figure out what the last steps are that you need to make it even more what you want.
So I am going to start. I think we so Sherry, you can try and support this action.
No.
Zach is like, when she grabs the phone, Zach is just sort of standing there, like shaking his head and miming, no, like tear it, break it. Come on.
So why don't you roll, Morosa, with Winter?
Okay. I'm better at Winter than I am other things, so that's good.
And then we'll have Zach roll Persuade with Heart.
Okay. Here we go.
And this is Persuade rather than Manipulate.
That is a really bad roll. That's the worst roll possible. But at least I can say this: rolling with disadvantage isn't any worse than rolling with advantage.
Okay. So why don't you mark XP?
Okay.
And Zach, why don't you do me a favor and roll Persuade?
All right. That was actually a 9 minus 1 is just an 8.
Just an 8. So she's really kind of freaked out between you and Morosa swapping the phone around, and she will say, now she has you have a debt on her. Does she have a debt on you? What's your relationship with Spinning Jenny?
Who?
Zach.
We don't actually have a relationship.
Okay, all right. So you haven't got that built up. And what about you, Morosa?
Oh, let's see. Let's see here. I do have one. Okay, someone gives me access. I owe her 2 debts.
Okay.
So I'm in deep.
Yeah. So she will say, look, I don't know, maybe you're being followed. I'm going to move to another place, but I'm not going to tell you where, but I'll call you again at the next time. Okay?
Okay, just remember, stay by the moving water.
Okay. Yes. So you're not going to be able to find me, but I will give you a call at the time. Okay?
Okay. We'll be by the phone.
Okay. And she will hang up.
Did she sounded like she was comforted before you ripped the phone away from me. Did that end up well?
Yes, she's taking the proactive step of moving again. Though she wasn't sure where, so we don't know. But she's going to call at 123.
Hey, she's horrible at picking out places to move. You should know better than that. That's not okay. What'd you guys do?
No, I was just trying to. I was just trying to comfort her, just I just laid out what had happened with the explosion and Camilla being slightly hospitalized, but it's all fine.
We are not very good at this, but the things that we're good at is what we should be doing. This is what Jenny needs from us now. Let's do this thing.
Okay. So now I'm going to cut to the hedge door.
Oh, that went terrible. Thank you.
So the door naturally would have closed, but you can open it again when you get in. This is, you expected maybe police or whatever might have come because of all the noise and things, but no. They chose this place. It's an empty old shoe hospital. They figured somebody busted in. Maybe there's a piece of cardboard over one of the windows, but otherwise it's left untouched. And there's glitter everywhere inside there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I scoop up big handfuls of this glitter and stick it in a pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
It's nice, wet, charred glitter. It's
Yeah.
lovely.
And you can move over and open, concentrate. You've got the key before, and you can open the hedge door. And we talked about that bookcase folding in on itself and opening, and see the sort of the greenish gray tunnel, and you can move into the hedge if you wish.
So I think as Morosa is there doing that door, Zach just sort of out of the corner of his eye, like he looks back at where he'd been hiding that first time and sees the like burned handprint next to the electrical socket that he'd accidentally left there. This is the first time he noticed it. He gets this sort of like chagrined look on his face and quietly scuttles over to that side of the room and like pushes an empty box in front of that. Like, we just don't need to bring that up or think about that again.
All right. That smoldering is probably still in your nose there, everybody's. So who is sort of leading into the hedge? Because there is a move for this. And it is weird based.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I am. Although that's going to be bad for me, but I think I'm leading into the hedge because the idea previously, I think, was that I would kind of scout around and see what I could find in there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So I will have you roll with weird.
That is an 8.
That's an 8. All right. So on that, you get to arrive where you want, evade pursuit, find what you want, learn something about the world. And if you don't take evade pursuit, it's not like pursuit pops up. These are goals that you have there. Mm-hmm. So that's the first part, and then we'll pick some consequences.
I think it's probably find what we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you got 8, so you get to pick one of the consequences. Takes more time, draws attention, you take harm, you mark clarity, you lose something important, or you end up owing a debt. And then I pick one.
Sorry, I was muted. I want to mark clarity.
Okay. And so here is what I think is going to roll out from this, if you'll permit me. Mm-hmm. You will head into the hedge. The hedge still has that look of the thorns, but here in the Detroit area, it's very industrial. It's sort of rust and steel and cold bits, and also tires and machinery and things like that as you move into the hedge. And the thorns and things kind of part before you. This is not one of the trods, not one of the trods that you know. And so you are moving along with your beast senses kind of leading you along. And it is dark. It is industrial smelling, oil, pitch, all of that. It smells like a tire fire sort of constantly through this section here. And Morosa, what's your reaction when you go into the hedge?
I think for her, it's like all the hackles are up on her neck, and she goes into sort of hyper alert for all the signs and things like that. So she tends to be, I mean, it's a good thing that Thicket is going before her and Zach is there too, because she's not paying attention to walking through the hedge. She's paying attention to everything else. So she needs someone to follow during those times, because she gets sort of, her wariness is on that other level.
And Zach, what about you?
I think Zach freaks the hell out. This is exactly the wrong sort of place for him to be. So I think as we come through and there's all this metal and industrial rust everywhere, Zach, normally he's gleaming Zach because he normally goes around in his Fey-Mean. He's sort of covered in a shell of constantly crackling electrical energy. And as you walk through, and Morosa's sort of in front of him and Zach's right behind her, and there's just this constant sort of buzz and glow that you're used to coming from Zach. It just goes out, and you turn around. He's completely dark. He looks like a person now, but he's much smaller than he was, more shrunken than his form normally makes you think. He's covered in like bruises and burns and these lightning scars, and he looks freaked out.
Okay, nice. And Thicket, when you move along through here, do you maintain your human form, or do you go into full beast form? What does that look like?
I actually think that this is kind of a hybrid between the two. I think that I look like a small child. I step out, and start going through the hedge, and I think I become more and more bestial as I walk through. So originally, it's sort of like a anthropomorphic raccoon, looking, still dressed in human clothes and acting like a human and still talking. And maybe as I get further in, I get down on all fours and start, scrambling a little bit.
Perfect. It starts out when you first come in, you're close to the real world, so you hear all the real world noises of cars and people and footsteps and all of that. And it is the further you get in, the deeper you get in, and this goes deep pretty quickly, that noise starts to fade out as kind of background radiation. You will, the hedge here is sort of strange, like someone has done some work on it, and that becomes very peculiar when you see that the hedge almost turns into like more solid and like Quonset aluminum. The sort of the rippling aluminum kind of gets to look like that, and it widens out, and you're moving along, and you can see that there is a larger, like almost like a big campsite. Like it opens up into a big thing. It's got like little like KOA style signs that are kind of twisted, and there's some cars and ruins, and you actually will see tents and things, and like the sort of Campers of America kind of thing, and there are tents and things, and there's a big like Airstream RV that's up on blocks that's in the middle of it. It's pretty big. There's some sort of fake trees and things around that are made of metal. And as you are looking down at that and seeing that there are goblins down in there, you will hear Thicket from above you, this noise, and you see this figure drop down. And it's short, maybe 3 feet tall. It's got kind of a really worn plaid shirt, got weird sausage fingers. It's got short, knobby knees, and it's clearly a hob. Where it ought to have a head, there's a garbage bag, kind of a black garbage bag that kind of crinkles, and you can see the mouth and the eyes are kind of pulled in to show the face. And it looks at you and it's like, hey, what are you doing?
Oh, we're here to join the crew. I heard you always need more people, right? What are you doing?
I was sitting up on the hedge.
Yeah. You like that?
It's good. It's good. Because it means I don't have to be doing other things. The mayor hasn't given me a duty, so I don't have to go and do it. And then I got to say duty, which is even better. So it's all good. So you're with Sour?
We followed him in here, sure. How many goblins are here that might need some help?
You mean marketing?
Yeah.
They got some market there. We're still getting set up as we moved.
So where would we hide? Where's the mayor so that we don't get assigned jobs like you?
Oh, if you're going to shop, you're going to have to go talk to the mayor. And he points to the biggest of the tents. Looks like it's made of like tin foil.
He doesn't stay in that big airstream down there?
No, that's Sour's thing. That's how he cut a path here.
Okay. Maybe we should go look there. Okay. Well,
and
thanks.
he hops down and he starts walking down towards the Hob village.
So in the lore, is this a problem? So I'm not familiar with the goblin interaction with changelings. Is this going to be a problem?
Well, he's probably going to go and tell the Hobbs that there are some strangers here. The Hobbs, they clearly have some interaction with Sour. The fact that he's got his setup here with them is a little odd. And Hobbs normally aren't that big a fan of changelings. They like selling things to them and fooling them and getting stuff from them, but they're not big fans. So he essentially heads on down. What do you guys want to do?
I think while that's going on and ending up, I'm going to lean into Marosa. Marosa, what's he doing? He's been talking to him for a long time. Is he going to go? Is he going to go sell us out? What's happening?
No, he's trying to figure out what's going on. Don't worry. Thick it's smart about these kinds of things.
Well, I know Thick it is, but the little bag man, you can't trust Hobbs.
Well, you can trust them exactly as far as you can trust them. I mean, once they make their word, they're kind of stuck. But you gotta listen close.
I don't like any of this. Let's go catch up with him. I don't like this.
So I think I come back up and I kind of cock my head and say, Marosa hit?
What?
Marosa hit? Kind of questioning, are you going to go beat him up?
The little guy?
Yeah.
Why? Is he going to get us in trouble?
He's going to go tell everyone.
I told you he was going to get us in trouble.
Well, why don't we just go and figure out what's going on? I mean, we just kind of need a cover story, right?
I told him that we're here to join Three Iron Sour.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, hopefully we won't get stuck doing that because yuck. But okay.
Well, what I actually said was we followed Iron Sour, and I heard that they need people. So,
Okay.
yeah. I didn't say we're going to do it. Yeah.
All right. So who's the Hob going to go talk to? 3 Iron Sour
I'm
or
sure he's
someone
going to
else?
go talk to the mayor of the Hobbs. He's in that big tinfoil thing.
Okay. Well, why don't we just see what we can glean from the Hobbs?
So what's your take on the Hobbs being here? I didn't really expect to see him here.
And she sort of stops and goes, are these the goblins that we see at the market, or are these different goblins?
No, these are completely different. You've never seen these Hobbs before. Your Hobbs are they have like the equivalent of a Hob mall, like a shitty, broken down shopping mall that they run. With all the kinds of old crappy stores and things. They've got a Hot Topic, but it's not called that. And these guys, they look like transient Hobbs. I mean, they've clearly new arrivals.
And usually that causes some turmoil.
Yes, Hot Topic. Thank you.
Awesome. So usually that causes some turmoil with the other Hobbs, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right. This may actually just be the leverage that we need to find out what went down previously. Though these are probably the Hobbs that Sour got his contract from and why everyone was so mystified. So what we want to do is go down and see if we can figure out what these Hobbs call themselves. Then we can go talk to our Hobbs. This ought to get their attention. Let's put it that way. Okay?
So if we grabbed one of these Hobbs and just drug them back, then that would be enough for our Hobbs to get kind of mad.
No, we would just have to tell them that, the mayor and his crew of ex-mobs, Hobbs, are here, and we could even tell them where. And that will at least... we'll hear something about them if they know anything. And I'm thinking that if Sour used them before 7 years ago, they've had a run-in with them before. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that sounds great.
These guys are interlopers, no doubt.
It does, and Thicket, you said they were setting up for a goblin market here,
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely get our Hobbs up in arms. They're really territorial about that sort of thing. They're long contracts that go into goblin market jurisdiction domains and like setting up a new one.
Plus, I have a bunch of stuff on layaway. So.
Yeah. They don't want their business going to some new upstart competitor.
Exactly.
If we work this right, we might be able to get your stuff off of layaway from the Hobbs. Because we're doing them a favor.
Awesome.
Okay, but can we focus on not dying from the mobs of angry goblins who are going to sell us out?
Sure. Let's go down and talk to them, polite. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So you guys want to... Are you presenting yourselves openly, or are you trying to move with some stealth around to... like where the leader's tent is, or what's the plan here?
I would say that since we don't know whether 3 Iron Sour's...
Hold on 1 second while I mute our microphone.
Stupid real world, how dare you intrude?
So we have a few options here. We could potentially shop at this place and try and get some information. Or we could just go straight to the mayor and present ourselves, or try and pass ourselves off as, trying to help 3 Iron Sour. What do you guys think?
I like trying to interact with the market because I think that could get us some interesting information, and Zach is A, wildly unsuited for that, and B, in a terrible situation and emotional state for this. So that sounds perfect.
Awesome. You just want even more moves, I know, but that's awesome. I think, strategically speaking, at least as strategic as I can get. I would say that what we want to do is get away with who are these guys, what do they call themselves, and what's their relationship to Three Iron Tower without alerting Three Iron Tower that we're here. So kind of going around them.
Okay. So
I
I
find
think
out if Three Iron Tower is here right now.
so. I think one of you, whoever is sort of leading the sneakiness of this, should roll stay strong, essentially, and let's roll with weird.
Well, I guess I'm the one that kind of pushed to go down and
Okay.
talk. So,
All right.
Okay. I will do my darndest. Oh, not horrible. So that's a 10 because I have a weird 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
So your group can sneak around. There are some hobs there. They're clearly doing some like makeshift camping things. And it also looks like they're like maybe doing some construction things, like they're building stuff or things for the market. And you will come around and you can get up to this larger tinfoil tent, and you can go in if you wish. And
is that where the little trash bag head went?
Yep.
Yeah, we should do that.
Okay. Pull it open. It is bigger on the inside, but it is still tinfoil, and it is like stiflingly hot in here. And you will see this more human-looking, pot-bellied hob. I've put a picture of him up in the NPCs there. He's got kind of a formal cape on and a kind of little piggy face, little eyes, and he'll look at you and wet smacking lips, and the garbage guy's like, and that's them. And
say you.
Hello.
Okay, and I'll say, hello, you must be the mayor?
Oh, you know my title. It precedes me.
It does.
Come in, then.
We heard you were in charge here, so we wanted to stop and pay our respects.
I am in charge. And paying respects?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yo, get me some more hobs. And the garbage bag guy will run out, and he'll go, it's just a moment. And
she, okay. And she kind of stops and goes, this is kind of a nice camp you've got here.
Oh, yes, civility. We're very civil here. And garbage bag comes running back with 2 more hobs, and you see that the hobs essentially drop to hands and knees behind you guys. Mm-hmm. And the mayor go, please sit.
Oh, well, that is very generous of you. Thank you. And she will. Now she's a big lady, so she's.
Yeah, you hear a from the hob that you sit on.
She goes, I didn't know this was out here. Are you guys building to stay?
Well, this is we are forward-thinking, proactive actor hobs. We are returning to the area.
Returning? Oh.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? How long have you been? No, that doesn't make any sense. These are hard questions in the hedge. She goes, what is your camp called?
This is Tinfoil Alley.
Ah, awesome.
Who are you three? You're with Three Iron Sour's crew? Are you his inside men?
We are new recruits. Well, we're working towards that. You know how it is when you got aspirations, but you got to lay some groundwork. I can see you guys are laying some groundwork here.
Yes, groundwork. And he looks at Zach, at you, Thicket, and he's like, please sit.
Zach will tentatively sit down on one of the hobs, and I think just like every 30 seconds or so, there's this like audible static discharge onto the hob underneath him.
And I think Thicket also sits down briefly and then gets up and paces around and walks around the room and then sits down. I think he might actually like stick a finger through the tinfoil and see what's on the outside and then come back around and sit back down. And
so you've come to see me first. That shows breeding. Fine breeding on your part. You must have had most excellent keepers.
This is what I'm told. I can't remember, but that's okay. And she sort of leans forward and she goes, do most people come to see 3 Iron Sour first? That seems like a bad decision.
Yes. I mean, he led us here, returned us, but you know, we know who is more important.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't make any sense to go to someone else first. I mean, you have the official title. You've been elected. He was deposed, I hear.
A minor matter, a misunderstanding, as I understand it, but these things happen.
So is he gonna like, I don't know, leave you guys behind when he goes back?
Goes back? No, he's here to stay.
Really?
Yes.
that's not really what he told us, I don't think. Did he say he was going to be staying here?
Oh, no. When we talked to him in our good buddy planning meeting with him, no, he definitely said he was moving on and tricking the hobs that were following him.
What? All right. I need someone to roll manipulate. That is with heart. And that's with heart, and if somebody wants to support, you can do that.
So, Morosa, did you actually manipulate, or was it? I think I introduced the. No, he's going to leave you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Yeah. So if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to help then?
I could try.
I was going to say I could help, but that never goes well.
Hey, not going well is fun.
Roll with
Okay.
season.
All right. And your season is spring, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna roll first. So, all right. So I got 6. So I do not succeed at the support. I'm like, yeah, there.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
don't worry. I got this. I got a 4.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So let me roll.
Why don't you roll with heart?
Yep. Okay. And I got an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So under manipulate, you've got some choices. You can pick 2 of those.
Okay. Do they have a confused condition?
Yeah, you can essentially say, I want them to market condition. I want him to be confused about the situation, even more than the sort of the delaying hectic. Like he's going to have to work that out to get it off.
Okay. So I think that I'd like to mark his confused condition, and then I'd like to expose a weakness or flaw.
All right. So he'll say, he's like, but he'll say, but he's taking over. He's going to rob the commons, take the signs of power. He knows how they're hidden, and he's going to stay here. And that's how he's done it. I mean, but elsewhere, but this time he's staying. So that's what is he and his gang are going to do. So, and he's like, it never like occurred to him that there might be a betrayal involved. 3 Iron Sour has clearly worked him pretty well. And so he does look like he's like not sure what to do. And now he is moving around and pacing, but his pacing isn't that kind of sharp, deliberate movement like you have, Thicket. It's kind of a rolling sort of mound of flesh getting antsy.
Well, I think at this point, I whenever he says that, I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. It'll be just like all the other times. I'm sorry. You're right. He must be coming back in a completely unbelievable voice. Yes.
Okay. And as he's talking, you will hear outside voices, definitely not pop voices, but sort of, coherent English language discussion out there. And so you hear somebody say, oh shit, they killed him. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wait, and they came here? So what do you three want to do?
Yeah, I say, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to cause you any problems, Mayor. And I think that's whenever I take my paw and I kind of slice through the aluminum foil on the outside. I say, it's time to go, and I think we're all going to walk out that way. I kind of look back at the rest of them, and the kid walks right out.
Well, thanks for your time. This is a very good talk. I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay.
Too bad about 3 Iron Sour.
Whoa. So is your intent to cheese it to get out of the camp as a whole?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Then I need you to roll wild. Thicket.
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. So you're going to get away, and I need you to look at the escape choices.
Let's see. Who could I owe a debt to? So I think I owe someone a debt for my escape.
Garbage bag is there.
Oh yeah, garbage bag. I owe garbage bag a debt.
Yeah. The mayor kind of gestures for him to assist you, and garbage bag will kind of lead you out.
Oh, okay. And I think that I'm going to give in to my base nature and mark clarity. And the way this actually looks is garbage bag goes back to his tree, and that's kind of how I climb up the tree, to kind of get out and over some of these people.
Perfect. So the group can get out. Garbage bag leads you. You will see it looks like 3 Iron Sour, and there's the clown guy and a couple of others. And you can see that the Hobbs have brought the body of that reptile guy. And 3 Iron Sour is just now getting told about this. And you guys can take off. Essentially, Thicket leading you out of here to get free. Garbage bag guy points at you and goes, you, me, right?
We're good, yeah.
Does this, kind of presses his little bag down, heads off. And you guys can bolt out and get back out of the hedge if you wish.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, please.
This seems like a good place for us to take a bio break here. So let's take 5 or so. And if we need to take another break, we can do that, Stephen, okay?
Okay, no problem.
And Sherry, you marked XP for your support fail.
Oh, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. I didn't do the good news is, so.
That's okay.
Sorry, had to convince the dog to come out from under the house.
All right. So you guys have escaped from the hedge. 3 Iron Sour is alerted that action has been taken against him, or at least that the ambush that he planned did not go as he wished it to. He knows that one of his people got taken out. He doesn't know where the other one is. And you're guessing eventually he may find out that you were on the camp and get the details of that kind of thing. You escaped, but they're going to talk. The Hobbs do. That's their nature. So with that in mind, where do you three want to go?
Well, we got to talk to the other princes so they can put protections on their artifacts. And we got to talk to the Hobbs to tell them that 3 Iron Sour brought Tinfoil Alley back.
And 3 Iron Sour has probably been using Tinfoil Alley to take over several other places. So he's stolen other places of power too, it seems.
Yeah.
Oh. Which means that he has a bunch of Changeling artifacts, right?
Quite possibly.
Who would be most interested in that? Summer?
Summer is the court that's currently in charge, but sort of like slipping and losing their hold. So, yeah.
Autumn is also heavily involved with magic and tokens and things.
Maybe we shouldn't tell them a whole lot about the extra artifacts because they might make a deal with 3 Iron Sour. You know, give us the artifacts to stay in power, and you know, you can have spinning Jenny all you want, something like that. So,
Yikes!
Yeah, let's not tell them that there's a benefit to them being around 3 Iron Sour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, as far as Jenny goes, like, if we're looking for someone who could try and backtrack his history and the dealings that he's made or broken in these last 7 years, Jenny would sort of be the one to go to, I think, for that. Be a hard road to convince her, but, that's right in her wheelhouse.
But we also don't know where she is, so we have to wait until 123 to speak to her.
That's a good point.
So I think first we should probably see if let's put the houses on lockdown, knowing that 3 Iron Sour is going to go after their places of power.
Yeah, I think talking to the princes and trying to find out more about what these artifacts are or how we can help protect them or something.
So who do you want to go talk to?
Probably Autumn, just because the artifacts are important to them first, and then to Winter, and then I guess we'll just go through the cycle that way, right? And then end up with Summer, and if we haven't gotten satisfaction with the other ones, we can get them all excited up. And that's as much strategy as you'll get out of Marosa ever.
Should we split up?
Yeah, because I do sort of feel the call that I need to go talk to the Winter Prince first.
Okay. All right, then. I guess I'll start with Autumn. And Flicker, do you want to talk to Spring? And then we'll all meet up and go see Summer?
Well, how about if I go talk to Spring? I'm sorry, I'll go talk to Spring, and then One of us can talk to Summer, while the other two go talk to the the Goblin Market.
Oh, okay. That's probably a really good idea because
Yeah.
the hobs can be really confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, that place was crazy because they actually had a leader. Usually that's not what you got. So,
Okay, so what first?
so let's see. There's autumn, there's spring, autumn, and winter are first. So you choose which season you want, Lowell.
Let's start with winter, since we haven't seen winter happen yet as much on stage, except for Sarah No Tears, who's of course a winter court. So if you interacted with her, which you did, you don't forget to mark that.
Oh, yeah.
Woot, woot, woot.
Okay. And you petitioned to speak to the Prince of Winter, Zach?
That's Carpenter Husk.
Yeah. Do you have any friends in the Winter Court that could also assist you? I mean, beyond your own position, there anybody that you know that would help?
Well, I have a relationship. It's not in a direction that's overly in my favor, but with Abyssinian Max, as he's been trying to take on the role of like tutoring me how to fit into society, mortal mostly, but polite changeling society too, to a degree. And I keep screwing it up, but I think he's the one that I'd go to for this.
And when he hears that you want to go speak to the prince, he's like, okay, hey, man, you know, I gotta go with you. I'm not gonna do that, man. It's because you don't want to go do that on your own. You know,
Oh.
you got a little bit of a, you know, touch and go thing, okay?
No, thank you. That's actually, that makes me feel a little better. I haven't actually ever talked to Carpenter Husk directly before without someone else stepping on my feet a lot and saying words for me.
Yes, I had to do that. But anyway, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, I'll go do that. Yeah. Where do you suppose, we haven't established this, what do you suppose the winter sort of central place is? Where do they gather?
I've been doing some just looking around at abandoned Detroit stuff, and I don't have a particular picture that I saved, but I found a number of really great like mansions, you know, like people that had run like car manufacturers or these steel plants or things, and built these like miniature castle mansions for themselves. And now they're just abandoned and like things growing into them and walls sort of falling down. So I think it's one of those. It's got sort of a more overtly castle theme to it. It's almost got sort of parapets at the corners, but it's this mid-century mansion that's been abandoned for about 20 years. The yard is just overgrown everything. Part of the roof's caved in, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And you be arrive there, Abyssinian Max with you. It's got a little bit of that damp, but you know the ways in. Inside, there are some false walls and things that have been put up by the Winter Court, hideaways and bolt holes, almost a kind of Winchester mansion hiding away of spots. And eventually you'll get down to the offices of the prince, and Carpenter Husk is there again. He is made of wood. You assume an elemental, and he has that kind of almost elemental / mannequin look to him, and he's always very cautious. And Abyssinian Max introduces you, says that you have business, and Husk says, "You're a member of our court. I always give court members one audience per season. This seems like you're calling in that. Am I right?
Yes, yes. That's thank you. That's very kind of you to allow me this audience, especially on such short notice.
Yes, yes, it is.
So, well, you see, my motley mates and I, we have a certain connection with Spinning Jenny. Surely you know her. She's in the court all the time. She knits doilies everywhere. Doilies.
Yes, I know Spinning Jenny.
Oh, good. Yes, that'll make this easier. So, Spinning Jenny, well, she apparently got herself into a bit of a mishap with a contract. There was a former prince. Maybe you knew him too. Three Iron Sour.
Zach. Let's assume for the moment that I'm up on current events. Does that seem like a reasonable thing, a reasonable agreement between the two of us?
Oh, all right. Well, yes, you're very well informed then. All right. So, well, we've been trying to track down and figure out what was going on there. We managed to find
Admirable.
a hedge gate that Sauer was using to send people through, and it seems like he's, I don't know, working some sort of mojo over the theater itself, trying to break into a back door in the defenses of the freehold building. And well, we followed his hedge gate through to the goblin town that he's setting up just on the outskirts of the hedge here.
Let me pause for just a
Oh,
moment.
I'm sorry, I was just assuming.
So he's planning on breaking into the commons, and he's brought a new group of hobs with him.
A group doesn't entirely seem right. I'd say more traveling village. They're much more organized than group.
So nomadic hobs.
Yes. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but what exactly did the mayor call the artifacts or whatever?
He said that the artifacts of the commons. He didn't of the freehold. He didn't say anything specific.
Gotcha. Yes, we went and talked to them. It seems like he's setting up this market here in town, and he's wanting to set up this hub village, and come in and take the artifacts of power from the various courts for himself to, I think, build up his own influence, and I mean, probably kick all of you out and take over the freehold for himself again. They implied that this time he means to actually stay rather than moving on afterwards.
Well, that somewhat changes the complexion of the situation. I was more than inclined to let Three Iron Sour take the girl and head off. But if what you're saying is true, then I will have to see to that. Who else have you told?
Oh, I haven't told anyone. I mean, Morosa and Thicket were there, but I didn't tell them. I assumed they came to similar conclusions.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing me this information. I will endeavor to speak to the other princes. I would like to ask that outside of your circle, you not advertise this matter.
All right. No, that seems okay.
I would prefer fewer leaks in case there are problems.
You think there are more people that he has around?
There's always a possibility.
Oh.
He was a prince, so he has some knowledge and some pull. And if he's survived 7 years and brought a hob colony with him, tick-tock.
Is there anything you need me to do? Is there any help you need with this?
No, I think we will look to make sure that the relics, and he trails off like he doesn't want to say that those things are protected. You're dismissed.
Zach will sort of sigh like, oh, thank God, and just turn around and very quickly out.
Okay. Max comes with you. Hey, yeah, you did a good job there. Yeah, right. Yeah, huh?
I remembered to use his full title and not call him Buddy, and not even try and pick up anything that he owned and break it.
Yeah. He didn't set anything on fire this time, or electrocute, or break his phone, or anything. All right.
It was really difficult, but I'm trying to concentrate. That's what you said. Just concentrate.
Yeah. He gives you a pat on the shoulder. Yeah. Maybe you'll be able to do some of these things on your own here soon, huh? Yeah.
I definitely leave like a slowly smoldering and burning footprint in one of the carpet runners as we're heading out of the house that starts a minor fire that some people have to freak out and come deal with. But it's not like it burns down much of the house.
Right. Morosa, let's cut to you.
Okay.
Who are you speaking with?
I was going to speak with the Autumn Prince, Sister Coin.
All right. Who do you know in the Autumn Court who can get you in to speak?
I know Spinning Jenny, so I will.
But she is off the grid.
It's true. Let me see if there's anyone else.
Don't forget that you can always essentially hit the streets to get what you need and essentially name a new person.
Oh, okay. I guess I can try that. So I hit the streets. What does that take?
So what it is you can you would hit the streets, get what you need, name who you're going to enroll with their season. So essentially you would name me somebody and roll with Autumn.
Okay, so I think that the one that I would be the most interested in is probably Lean and Hungry Mike, who's a half their ogre who I've kind of seen. I mean, sometimes when the ogres get together for the all-you-can-eat buffets that don't know about the ogres yet, that, essentially I've, been at the I had my tray, she's had hers. We've been walking through the thing together and having a chat, but I don't know Lean and Hungry Mike all that well.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and roll with Autumn?
Okay. This is going to go awesome. So that gives me a 6.
So you go to try and speak with Mike because you need to get an intercessor. You can't just go and ask and so on. And she's a person but she is in the middle of things right now, and you're not going to be able to track her down.
This is not good. This is not good.
So you mark XP, and do you have another tact you want to take?
Yes, I do. Let's see here. I think that I might try the thing that Morosa would try, which is I will go to the place of the Autumn Court and I will petition at the door in my ogreish way. I will be friendly and gregarious and sincere and say that I have to speak to her about Spinning Jenny. All
right. So you'll arrive there. I don't think we established where the Autumn Court has their shingle. So where do you suppose that is? They're in good shape.
Yeah, they are in good shape. And essentially what they have is, I'm thinking that there's one of those car museums for Detroit, that has like all the cars that have come off of the various factories that are arranged in thing. So it's like a car museum, essentially, where everything's up on pedestals and really lovely. But it's in one of those big former factory places. So it's big. And they have essentially one of the sort of overhead office levels. They have all of that space there.
Okay.
So, and that's where their place is.
And as you would expect, the person who is the doorman for this is Wyndham Wales, the toll taker ogre.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his fine suit. You do not like him.
I don't like him because he's always extracting a price from everything. But
So let's have you roll with heart.
oh, then I got it.
If you can convince him.
All right. Here we go. So 8.
8. So he's there. You want to go see the prince. You start the gregarious thing when Wales like listening to you, listening to you, listening to you, listening to you, listening to you. Say, so. You want to go and get an audience with our prince on short notice?
That's it. That's absolutely it. And I know that you can arrange that.
I can do that, but that is going to cost you.
It always does with you, Wyndham. Consistency is your only virtue. I mean, well, maybe you have another one. I just don't know about it yet.
See, when you start talking like that, you really cause problems.
Come on. It's about
I will.
Ginny.
Will you allow me to do this favor for you?
Please. And yes.
Mark a debt.
Gosh. So many debts because of spinning Jenny.
And he will take you on in, beautifully laid out. We'll take you up to the office. They've got changelings who are clearly doing like preparations for the court. Like they actually have some finances and things like that. It's a little more formal. You'll see some of the others there. Probably see Squintborn, the horrible darkling fluttering about. Wyndham takes you in and kind of stops you. Mm-hmm. And goes in and announces you, and you come in and you will see Sister Coin there, who has kind of a shimmering metallic skin that moves and shifts, and she looks at you and she says, Morosa Scorned, you've made your way through. You must have some important business here?
Yes, I do. It's very important. And is Wyndham left? I said, if I may speak to you privately.
She'll dismiss Wyndham. You're not here to murder me, right?
Oh, goodness, no.
Oh.
Yeah, I think no, I definitely wouldn't do that of my own volition. So here's the thing. You know, Spinning Jenny's got some problems. 3 Hour and Sour is back.
Yes. Spinning Jenny. I understand the situation, but she is not been able to get a hold of her.
If you need to speak to her, I can get a message to her, maybe. I mean...
so you know where she is?
I don't know where she is, but I have her contact me twice a day.
All right. So what is the matter that you came to speak to me on? My time is precious.
It is, and I can tell. And this is why I had to come and tell you, because we were kind of looking into what 3 Iron Sour was up to, and we found his hedge door that he was using, and we went through, and Tinfoil Alley, he's brought them back. He's running that. and his MO and what they apparently expect him to do, and he's already done it to other freeholds, is he's going to break into the commons and steal the freehold relics. But the Hobbs said he was planning to stay here after that as well. So sounds like he's going to grab a bunch of power and then try to establish himself. I just would like to know that the relics have as many protections on them as possible.
They do.
Well, he knows them. I mean, he was a prince one time.
No, it's interesting that you bring this up because we've had a changeover in who is handling the guarding of that.
Oh.
And Terrible Job of the Spring Court is now the guardsman for it.
I would like to point out that it's very polite of you to say his name is Terrible Job, but it's really Terrible Job.
There is that. He is of your court?
Yeah.
Do you trust him?
I prefer to punch him, but I'm not supposed to. I do not get along with him. Do I trust him? Never thought that hard on it. I just have to be truthful about it.
All right. Changing the protections is not a small working. I am inclined to want to have 3 Iron Tower dealt with.
Well, wouldn't the Hobbs that are here established now not be that keen on Tinfoil Alley? Would that be useful?
Yes. Yes, it would be.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It will take me some time to look into the protections.
Okay.
And to try and figure out exactly how Job maneuvered into this. I took it as a minor thing. They hadn't been an issue of concern for some time. But the coincidence is bothersome to me.
And he's a pretty terrible person. I mean...
He is a long-suffering changeling.
He spreads that suffering around. Oh, but that's personal. I am very sorry, Prince Cole.
Well, I will take this into consideration, and I appreciate your coming and speaking with me about this.
Okay.
If you are able to remove the burden from Spinning Ginny, that a favor.
That is very generous. It is our intent to do that thing. And she sort of stops and says, though Ginny hasn't been able to articulate the agreement, do you know anything of it?
Which portion of the agreement?
That she's bound to go with him?
She's bound to go with the remaining of her suitors.
Ah. With the last of her suitors.
Yes. And since Katarina's skin went missing and Sour killed the other one and Ashwine gave up his right, it leaves it to Sour.
Why did Ashwine give up his right?
That is Ashwine's business.
I don't know anything about Katarina Skin.
She has been gone for many years.
Well, so is Sour.
She vanished before this all went down. Much suspicion lies with Sour on that case.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I will have Wales see you out. And she does. And she kind of gives that order, and she will say to Wales, please kindly escort Miss Scorned out. In a way that says to you that he's supposed to be nice.
Okay.
And he is.
All right.
He does stop you at the gift shop desk, and he will say, mints?
Ooh. Yes.
Help yourself.
Thank you. What kinds are there? Just the one? Are they
Just
Detroit
peppermints.
mints? Oh,
They're
peppermints.
just Starbright peppermints.
The best.
Got him at Dollar General.
I, with all of my resolve, carefully pick up only one instead of taking the fistful that I truly desire.
Okay. So we'll assume that you guys can return and cross notes. Stephen is off, but is still listening. We can do his scene when he comes back. So what do you two want to do?
You're muted, Sherry.
Geez, I was being a genius. So I'm like, if we could find Katarina's skin, we might actually be able to cause, I don't know, a disruption in the situation. Man, we got to get that curse bucket on.
I thought we had set that up last time.
Yeah, it's all set.
Oh, yeah, it's all set. We just got to get him to make the run.
Yeah. Yeah, then maybe if we could play with one of the people attached to the original contract, that might lure him back into the city prematurely.
It is getting on dusk here soon.
Oh, I know one thing. If we could arrange that, like, Terrible Job, it's got to be somewhere else some night other than tonight. Like, if we can get someone to obligate him so that he tells Sour it's tonight or never. That would be awesome. But I'm not good at these things. Who would have that kind of control over him?
Hmm.
I think
Sure.
Spring Court only.
Well, yeah, you tell me who you think of the Spring Court people. If you have a debt that one of them owes you.
Let me see.
I mean, I could try and use Camilla's name.
Actually, Beck and Call owes me 2 debts.
Do you want to go and call in those debts on him?
Yeah.
So let's cut to that scene, shall we? If that's okay with you, Zach.
Yeah, and I was gonna say if it's coming up on dusk, then I want to be near the theater watching that first lamppost, just on the assumption that this might be a time when he comes back.
Okay. So you are keeping watch when you track down Beck and Call. Beck and Call, you'll catch him as he's coming out. He's a mystery shopper. That's what he does for his thing. He gets all the contracts for that, and he looks at you and he does that. Ugh. Because he's a Ferris.
I know.
And you're an ogre.
I know.
And he owes you.
I know. He does. He totally owes me. Wouldn't your life be better if we were even, Beck and Call? Wouldn't that be just a lovely thing for you?
I will admit
I can make
that
it
it
so
would
easy.
be, yes, it would be more appealing to me if I did not have debts to you. I assume that there is a thorn to this particular rose.
Oh, yes.
You get the reference?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
What do you need, Miss Scorned?
I need to make sure that Terrible Job can't be in place to do his guard job.
Wait, what?
And she goes, no. I just need you to call him away to another obligation on the next couple of days. He should be aware of it and should have to make other arrangements.
You're not planning a heist
No,
of some sort, are you?
I'm trying to prevent one.
Oh, God. Is this your plan?
Yes?
Oh. Dear God.
It's going to work great.
Let's have you roll heart.
Okay.
You can roll with advantage
Okay.
and get a +1 if you cash in the debt.
So that gives me 10.
Oh. All right. But I don't want my name otherwise attached to this.
No. It won't be.
Okay. He owes me for some tasks. I'll go and call him and demand those.
All right.
And
hey, if he manages to wheedle out of them, we just need to know.
okay.
And the reason is that we want something to happen on a certain schedule.
I don't want to know.
Okay.
I won't tell you. This is all going to go terribly wrong, and the fallout from this, I don't want to be a part of.
All right. I will do what I can to make sure you're not part of it.
Oh, this is so not a good thing. But he will go, and he doesn't follow back up with a "Hey, Job said no" kind of thing.
Okay. Awesome.
So I think then let's assume for the moment that you've spoken to the Summer Court, the goblins. We can flash back to that if we want. Morris, I assume you will meet up with Zach. Zach, you are waiting there. Dusk passes.
So yeah, I'm up. I've found my way up to the top of one of the buildings there, and I'm just sort of hanging out on the roof, being all sneaky and waiting.
Morosa eventually joins you. We'll assume that thicket is there as well, and it passes. Dusk passes. Time passes. You guys do the stakeout thing with coffee and 7-Eleven burritos and that kind of thing. And at about midnight, you will see a set of figures arrive. And you'll definitely recognize the clown. You'll see 3 Iron Sour. And you'll see those 2 goons that were with him the first time you met him. And they've got like backpacks and gear, clearly. And they're moving quickly, like time is not on their side.
And I'll point down to the clown one, say that's him. That's the ritual clown. You're muted.
Muted.
She's like, he is creepy. Okay. It's an ogre, I think.
And they will move up to that post, to that pillar, and they kind of set up, and you will see that they have clearly got some kind of basic glamour up, because you do see civilians on the street pass by. You know, they're not many out now, but they clearly don't see them. And you will see the clown go up and pulls out some ritual tools, sort of leverage style, you know, getting his gear together. And they're like, he looks back at Three Iron Sour, and they're like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And he reaches out, and what does that look like when the trap and the curse bucket hits him?
Well, the trap was keyed because he had gone around the first time I'd seen him do the ritual. He'd gone around and, you know, licked all of the lampposts. So it's sort of keyed to go off when he leads forwards and licks it, as just the street light above him burns out as the entire lamppost seems to short out and spark him up. So the curse bucket, and I don't know if this will set it off or not, but I think the curse bucket was supposed to be tied when Three Iron walked under it.
Yeah, you guys have that tied together, so it will go off on this guy, and he does a Christmas Story like lean up to do the lamppost, and there is that shock and that thing where his tongue is stuck to it, and then the curse hits him. What does that look like, Marosa?
Okay. We did kind of specifically set the trigger to Three Iron Sour, but if something has gone wrong.
No, because it was a cost on the thing last time when you did this. So I'm gonna say that this is gonna catch this guy.
It's going to catch him, but not Three Iron Sour.
Not Three Iron Sour, and there's some reasons for that. But essentially, let's get your monkey wrench here.
Okay, so I will describe it then. Essentially, what it is it looks like essentially when the light goes out, there's a sort of thing where the moon gets kind of unnaturally bright. You kind of see it catch on what looks like a spider web that's slowly falling. It'll hit him, and then it disappears, and a bunch of spiders run away.
Okay. And he will crash to the ground, and you will see flashing around Three Iron Sour, and it looks like a bunch of tokens just went off on him. Okay. Like a bunch of magical protections he had set up, not for out here, but for inside, just got popped.
Okay.
And it flashes, and he steps back, and the other two step back, and they are looking around to see what comes next.
So I think as that electrical spark goes off, as that whole sort of light show goes up, Zach
and he is, and the clown is stuck to the light pole. Just want to make that clear.
The Zach is gonna reach to like a running electrical line that's going up by the roof of this building, and I'm basically gonna try and zip down there through the lines, and as the last spark comes out of Clown Guy there, reemerge out of that, sort of flying past Three Iron, and now that those right in that moment when those defenses are pops, try and grab at the necklace where I know those rings are.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay, so I think first thing, let's go ahead and make the roll for you to gather power, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, 11.
All right, so you've got plenty of power for this.
So close to that clarity upgrade. Oh.
Yes. You've got 3, so let's say 1 to be able to do your teleport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then let's see here. I think to grab this is going to be a stay strong, right? Essentially
Okay.
well, actually, let me look here. How we want to do this. The most appropriate way. Not, well, actually, you're not attacking him. Let's do this as escape, because you want to get down there, get it from him, and get away. Does that seem cool?
Interesting. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Essentially, with the opening to escape and get the necklace from him, because he is definitely distracted because his magical wards are popped, at least a portion of them, and his time pressure here.
Okay. So that is... No, do something. There we go. Oh, a 4.
Okay. So I think that you will get down there. You'll mark experience.
Woohoo!
And you get a hold of that. And when you grab onto that, you'll see another pop, essentially, as another one of his protections goes off. And he seems pissed because these are all getting wasted on this penny stuff. And you're kind of stuck there, grabbing onto what looks like an after image of him. Morosa, it looks like there's 3 Iron Sour and there's 2 guys. You're not sure what they're going to do. Thicket said he can help by distracting if you need that assist to be thrown in. You have 1 in the team pool, by the way, for trust. Okay.
Then there is no question. I come barreling through. I am going to grab Zach, and I'm going to try to, I'm going to grab Zach and get him out of there, is essentially it. If I can,
so do you just leap off this roof? Because that would be awesome.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
She is completely heedless. Let us put it that way.
Okay. And you said you wanted to help Thicket, or do you want to do something else?
Yeah, so I can actually help. I'm sorry, I had to step away for a moment.
No, understood.
But basically, my understanding, the last thing I heard was that Zach was going to zip down and try and grab the necklace. How did that go?
It did not go terribly.
Okay.
He's holding on to 3 Iron Sours after image, but didn't get hold of the ring or escape.
Ooh, but now it's open. If we had a really good thief do it.
I don't know that means a really good thief. So I think this is Thicket's time. He's going to run up and try and grab the, try and help Zach pull away. He doesn't have a hold of the necklace, is that right?
Doesn't have a hold of the necklace. Morosa is clearly going down to grab Zach.
Okay.
And get him out.
So yeah, I think I'm going to run down and try and grab the necklace. I think Zach had a brilliant idea. This is great.
All right. So let me resolve Morosa first, and then I'm going to have you roll your escape for this.
Okay.
So tell me, this is you landing. This is, and you're trying to get Zach out of there as well?
Yes.
Okay. Then I think that's escape again. So please roll with wild.
All right. Let us do this thing. Oh, God. I hate this die roll.
Fair enough. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 3.
Okay. So the good news is you get to mark experience.
Sometimes there's too much good news.
The bad news is when you go and grab onto Zach, that after image you'll realize is actually holding him in place, and you've also grabbed onto that, and now you are also stuck in place.
Oh, we're both anchored. All right, then.
Yes.
The only thing I can do is be distracting.
Okay. Thicket.
So I don't think there's anything I could do to help the two of them. So I think I'm still going to be focused in on, the pretty shiny thing.
Okay.
And this is what I need to do. So that's an escape?
Yep, roll with wild.
See what that looks like. That is a 5.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the third time this has happened, and we do have that trust in the pool. If you wanted to use it selfishly, that would bump you up a whole category.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I think
you
that's
should
good.
do it.
Yeah, so I'll use the trust to
Okay.
put that up. And let me see what escape does.
Essentially, we would say definitely you get the ring and you can get away, but you have to choose 2 on the escape list. And then, does that seem to you guys reasonable to use it selfishly? If he grabs the thing, it takes off and leaves you there for a minute?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. It's what we want him to do.
It's so shiny, and he just has to hide it somewhere.
So pick 2 from the escape.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna give into my base nature and mark clarity.
Okay.
Is why the runaway and hide kind of thing happens, and I think what makes the most sense at this point is probably suffer harm during the escape.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, you grab onto that and take off, and you'll hear the sound of a click, and over your shoulder, you see, I mean, Three Iron Tower has those guns, and he fires out one of these guns, and it goes off, and you'll feel it hit you. So we'll have you mark. Well, you have armor, don't you?
I have 1, yes.
Okay, so you just mark 1 condition then, so you won't take a lot of damage from that.
Okay.
What do you want to mark?
Does it matter what I mark? Because
No,
I was going to mark.
Yeah, you can mark wounded. So tell me what that looks like.
Actually, so if I have an option for a different one, I think I'm going to mark probably insecure.
Okay.
Because basically what this looks like, and it all kind of feeds in, guns are really bad for my people. You know, a lot of us wildlings get hunted, and whenever he pulls out the gun and shoots at me, this is the most terrifying thing that could probably happen. So I'm really, really scared at this point. And I need to go to a safe place. So I think I'd probably go back to my den.
Okay, so you take off for your den, insecure, heading out.
And what this looks like is actually I scuttle down into one of the sewer grates, you know, one of the sewer things in the road, and I'm gone.
Oh, seems very beast. Good, good. Let's come back to Zach.
Hey.
You're kind of held in place. Three Iron Sour is not coming at you because he's occupied by trying to shoot the beast who's run away with that ring. But there are 2 other guys here, these 2 other changelings who look like they've been told to deal with threats. So let's have you, I'm going to have you stay strong as they're going to come in at you. And then I want you to tell me what you're doing.
Okay. So that is a 9.
Okay. So you will do that, but I say let's say you have to spend one of your power that you grabbed to do it. Does that seem like a good cost?
Yeah.
Okay. So like he goes to grab at you and you do that blink. You're kind of still caught in place, but you kind of blink aside from it, and he misses. So what do you want to do?
This day has not been ideal. This trap has similarly not been ideal, and I am currently stuck sort of in midair, sort of in mid-transformation between Lightning Bolt and Person Guy. I am not happy with how things have progressed thus far, and I really think the best option now is just to call down a full-on motherfucking lightning bolt on Three Iron Tower's head out of the clear blue sky.
Okay. So that sounds like you unleashing an attack, right?
Or call on power, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So essentially, your more thing is to get him out of here. Then.
Part of it is I'm assuming this trap that we're currently stuck in is still tied into something on him.
Okay.
But part of it is, yeah, I just want to blast him in the face with lightning.
Okay. So let's do call on power.
Okay.
Because we know that he's got some protections, but you're trying to get him out of the situation. So, what do you so we're gonna have you roll, and then we're gonna see if there's gonna be a catch or not, or if you're gonna fail. And roll with weird.
That is a 9 again.
Okay. So you're gonna have a major catch on this. What do you want?
I think change the environment.
Okay.
I think we're stuck clustered together with these 3 guys circling in around us, and I want to throw that all off balance.
So let's say that lightning hits. People everywhere around here will see that. Their tools go flying, okay? And everyone is thrown in all directions. 3 Iron Sour, these 2 guys go sailing away. You and Morosa go flying off in different directions. They've never been this close to a lightning strike before, so they are freaked out by that. We'll come back, and I want you to figure out what the catch is, what the price is you're going to have to pay for this, for having done this major invocation. Morosa, you guys are free. These guys are scattered. Looks like for the moment you've disrupted 3 Iron Sour's attempt.
Right. And he's essentially popped all of these different, I mean, he's had all these tokens and stuff to protect him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty good at this sort of sympathetic stuff. What ones, for what he would be going into, is there something that hasn't popped that I can pop? Can I unleash something at him that will pull out even more of them?
So you want to make it so there's no way that he can do this break-in?
At least not tonight.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So you're a curse witch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say that's you just want to do a minor thing. You just want to make sure you're going to pop this token that he can't get in with. So tell me what the name of the contract is, and tell me what the catch is.
I'm going to call it. Let's see here. Linchpin broke, or linchpin bent. Okay.
Okay.
And essentially, what it is it's a little curse that hones in on the one key thing, like one key thing that's needed, and turns it back on itself. So since it's a token, it would pop.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess it's some sort of skeleton key or something that would let him get past a set of protections.
Are you then trying to get out of here? I know before you were trying to grab Zach.
Yes. Then I would grab Zach and run.
Okay. Then I'm going to need you to roll wild.
Okay.
It's not going to be a permanent break, but you're certainly going to break it so that he's, with everything, he's going to have to fall back from this.
Okay. It would be good if I got a different set of dice, but in the meantime, I've gotten a 5.
Okay. So I'm going to say that...
I'm standing there flat-footed.
No, I'm actually going to say that you're going to have to mark clarity to do this. And you're actually going to have to mark 2 conditions.
I will take wounded, and I will take guilty.
Okay. So you've got Zach in the chaos of the lightning. You can take off, get out of the situation. They are scrambling to get themselves back together. And probably the last thing you'll see is Three Iron Sour like kind of realizing exactly what was taken from him.
Yes, and I go, aha, as I run away.
And that's probably where you take the wound when he starts shooting in your direction.
Exactly. But I want it to be that he thinks that all we were doing was trying to get that necklace back. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So he's going to have to fall back and take off. You guys can escape from the scene, and that seems like a good place to stop for today, right?
So I wanted to say just briefly.
Sure.
Because I had my catch there for that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I thought of that, and also in the process of doing it, I did mark my 5th clarity, so that's exciting.
Woohoo! Okay.
But the catch, and tell me if this is okay, because it's somewhere between a catch and a cost sort of thing. But I think since, like, it's a completely clear day, there are no clouds, there's nothing for a lightning bolt to come out of. And since there was nothing there to draw on, the only place that I knew that I could reach out and get power from was my keeper's forge, basically. The Luminosity's own lightning was the only thing that I had enough of a connection to call down. And so I think that's opened up a sign and a passage.
Okay. And let's say the physical catch too is that the lightning is going to stick around you for a day. That you know how you already do the static thing?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be any mechanical thing that you're around, phone, car, whatever, is going to be uncontrollably breaking for you.
Okay.
Does that seem cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I was out. Do you want to do the scene with the spring court? Or do you want to wait until next session?
Let's wait until next session, because I think it might actually politically tie into how Three Iron Sour and his crew are going to respond to this.
Sounds perfect.
Let's go ahead and we'll go to experience. And you've marked enough to do clarity, so you get to pick one of those clarity advances too then, right, Zach?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I'm, because I know what I'm taking. I'm going to take Cracks in the Surface, which is touch someone and mark clarity to declare one of their vulnerabilities. All damage from that source is treated as +1 harm and AP.
Ooh, nice.
I also got through my 5th clarity, and I got through my 5th XP.
Okay, awesome. So you can take an advancement and you can get a clarity move. And let's go through experience. Nobody cleared any debts particularly that they owed. We already took care of the rolling a miss. Did anybody have interactions with all 4 seasons marked?
I don't think we made it to spring for me.
Okay.
I did. That's what got me my 5th XP.
Okay. And Sherry, I think you did, right? You're muted.
Yes, it's taken all 3 sessions, but yes, this evening I got to see Winter Court, so because of Sarah No Tears. So.
You cleared your key condition. Nobody did that. We didn't have to worry about conceding a conflict. Did you sacrifice or risk something to interfere with your NPC rival?
Let's see here. Well, I paid a debt to do it. Let's see here.
Oh, with Beck and Call is your rival?
No, it was Terrible Job is my.
Oh, then yeah, definitely.
And I truly effed with him as much as I could.
And I don't think Zach, you or Thicket got into that with your rival tonight.
No.
Okay. And then let me ask you this, Zach, do you think you expressed your seeming or kith particularly?
I don't know. I think I definitely tied back into my endurance with the whole like us going through the metal rust chasm area.
Yeah. Oh no, that was a great callback to that. That was great. Yeah.
And actually, I think at the end, like I just gave up and tried to open up pure destruction on that guy.
Yeah. So let's give you a point for that. Do you think you expressed your humanity?
Again, unless it comes in with the fear, I don't think so.
Do you think that that applies? Do you think that that makes sense? Was that your humanity, or was it more about your endurance? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. That was sort of interesting because I'd been looking for an opportunity to like strip away his glittering shell and be the sort of broken thing underneath.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to give you a point for that. That seems reasonable.
Okay.
And what about you, Marosa?
Let's see
Seeming
here.
Kith?
I don't know. To me, I seem like I'm ogre all the time, but I may be off. What?
You established some
take?
facts about ogre society.
Yes. Oh well,
Today.
that's true. Yes, the all-you-can-eat buffets. Okay, sure. I will take that point.
And do you think you expressed your humanity?
I think her caring about the guy at the beginning who had jumped us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay then. Thank you.
Good catch, Thicket.
That was really nice.
Thicket definitely points for expressing your seeming or kith there. Some nice moments from that.
I agree. But I don't think I really expressed my humanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable to me. So just 1 point. Let's hold off. We'll do feedback at the end of the next session, and we'll see. Then we can talk about any mechanical things and come back on that. Unless there's anything anybody who really wants to get on the table that wanted to see more or less of in terms of play.
I did want to say I'm very sorry that it took so long. I didn't think it would take as long as it did. And the actual saying goodbye to people was like just a few minutes. But there was this whole lead up to them packing up and grabbing some stuff before they left. So I was able to listen in, but, I left the video off so you didn't see people running around in the background. Sorry.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you still listening in because I felt I saw your notes. So I was like, okay, he's still with us.
Yeah.
And just as a tiny system note, I was happy to see that like harvest glamour and condition clearing come in this time, and it ended up playing out in the sort of cool ways that from reading it I had hoped it would play out.
Yeah, I like that stuff. I like those scenes about what you have to do to survive, just as incidental, not as constant. So kind of fun. Sherry, anything you want to see more or less of for next time?
I want to see more sessions of this game.
Okay.
Do too.
It's good fun. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording here. And